Hey guys, welcome to the Nerd Lair helicopter simulation. Today I'm going to show you a little plugin that I downloaded. It's called Mission X, and it allows you to sort of create your own missions within the X-Plane environment. And it also has a very neat random mission generator, which we are going to use today. We're at Sedona Medical Center. It's the payware scenery by Xcoder, which you can get on the X-Plane store. We're in the AS350 by Dreamfoil. Very nice helicopter. One of my favorites, actually, to fly around. And, well, the installation of the Mission X plugin was kind of, well, confusing, to say the least. I downloaded a couple of files, actually. The one that I used was the 7zip.jar file or something like this. Anyway, I had to unzip it twice. Then I copied it into the plugins folder of my X-Plane installation. And then I had to download the random mission file from the X-Plane forum and put it. I did put it into the plugin folder, so in the Mission X folder, and I put it into the custom scenery folder as well, because the program kept telling me to do that. So I put it in the custom scenery folder, edited the initial file, the scenery.ini, to have it pop up there, and then it sort of worked. I don't know if that's the way you really ought to do it, or if I, well, I don't know, but basically it works, so I probably did something right. Alright, so here's what you do. Let's jump in the chopper now. It's cold and dark, as it would be, and then you go up to plugins, you toggle the Mission X window, and then you can go to the home screen, choose templates. There's something with the pause button. I think it's something. Yeah, sometimes it messes it up. It's like the pause button is active all the time. Let's close the window for now and unpause. Well, let's check our controls. Cyclic. It's not my button. Alright. There we go, it's unpaused now. So yeah, there's a little bug with the pause button. Let's hope it works now. Well, it doesn't. Just a minute. All right, we're back. Apparently, there was a command of something was checked in the menu. I unchecked it. So templates still don't work. Well, wait. Yes, quit. Now there we go. You choose template. And then you have a couple of missions that you can choose from. Delivery, and we're gonna, this is a Seattle medevac mission. I'm gonna check that out later. We can you click on medevac mission and then generate mission from template. Now it takes a few seconds, and then you will have a mission generated for you. So what they will do is they give you coordinates that you have to fly to, sort of direct. So we're going to click Start Mission. There we go.
Hello pilot. We have uploaded flight coordinates to your GPS. One of the locations is above water body. Head to first location coordinates lat. 34.90979385, lon, -112.24774933. Fly safe.
Alright, apparently this time he gave us a few coordinates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I think there's an option to load the flight plan of Mission X into your into X-Plane. I don't know how that works. However, I have the Reality XP Garmin simulation, so I could just create a user waypoint using these coordinates. So first of all, we're going to start up the helicopter. Batteries to on. Do the unload the actuators, just 1-2 seconds. Then the fire test and the light test. We're going to activate the anti-collision lights as well as our fuel pump, and we're going to time 30 seconds before startup. Also make sure that you release the rotor brake and secure it, otherwise the helicopter won't start. So let's see how that works. She said it would be above a water body, so that means that you have to hover for a short amount of time in order for the program to accept that you've been successful in that part of the mission. Alright, here's 30 seconds. Start the engines, make sure that about 20% into the rotors are turning, 20% in G. There they go. Rotors are turning. It's going to switch to the flight page real soon. About 60 NG. Not the flight page, the first limit indicator page. Sorry. We're going to wait till the T4 stabilizes. Make sure that it's not getting too hot. Shouldn't be above 600 degrees. $591. It does stabilize. So now we're gonna secure our starter. So latch it. And then we can put in our coordinates. So here's what I did. I created a user waypoint, and in order to not clutter up my GPS systems with user waypoints, because you know Mission X will give you new coordinates each and every time you use it. So I just created this user waypoint called Medivet, and I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to edit the coordinates. Now, they give you coordinates that sort of have a decimal format, and you can change the format here. So not using minutes and not using minutes and seconds, but use this instead. And the coordinates are just write them up. November, or North 34, 90979, and West 112 24774. Enter and save. So now we go back to our flight plan page. Well, I don't need Sedona here, so I'm gonna just delete that one, yes, and add my waypoint, which is called Medivac. There it is. Alright, so I'm gonna go direct to this waypoint, activate, and now I should have it. It's 21 miles, so it's gonna be a rather long flight. The last one was shorter, but hey. Switch on avionics. Altitude reporting. Transponder set to 1200. Uncage the artificial horizon, and we're going to do our hydraulics check. Make sure hydraulics is lit up. Check your controls. Switch it back on. Make sure it disappears. Then the same thing on the collective. Make sure the collective is latched, because in the real machine, if you don't do that, you know, the collective might move, and this is something that you do not want. So you can see that the movement, you can see it in the axis view, the movement is reduced in the on the actual stick. So it's a great way to implement the hydraulic failure, which basically is not easy to do in a simulator. So switch it back on, make sure that it disappears. We're going to switch on our position lights, our horn, which doesn't work. But yeah, it's an X-Plane 10 machine, so I'm just glad that it works. Though you can fly it decently. Alright, we have... oh, it's pretty cold. I think I have some old weather loaded up. I don't think that it ever gets minus 10 degrees in Sedona. However, let's switch on the pitot heating then. Alright, so we're good to go. Increase to a script to full. And I'm going to quickly set the radio to Unicom here. We're in VATSIM, but I don't think anybody's out there right now. So we're AirLive 1. That's our call sign. We're good to take off. Remember, the AS350 is very precise in its cyclic movement, landing lights to on. So there's not too much you need to do, just very small inputs. Slowly raise collective, but I have to unlatch it first. So right pedal in, very important, and keep the cycling a little bit aft, and to the right we have a right skid low hover position. There we go, we're up in the air, and straight up. Sedona traffic, AirLive 1 lifting out of Sedona Medical Center and departing to the west, Sedona. Let's get going. Oh, a little bit to the right here. Now I have to give a little bit of left pedal during cruise. Now once in the air, the aircraft is really stable and a joy to fly actually. The only tricky part is the landing actually, which is true of the real thing as well. That's where it gets its name from, squirrel. From the face from hovering to touchdown, it can be a real pain. So that's the desert of Arizona, actually. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look terribly good either. However, it's good on frame rates, even with OBS and the AS350, which needs like 6 frames per second to not be jumping or bouncing around on the ground. I still get 30 to 40 frames per second, which is pretty good for my computer. So 80.5 miles, we're on course. So you might need the Rescue X library, which you can find online. Um, I think it's required by Mission X to generate these missions, and I haven't checked out the plugin yet, but there might be, you know, some objects like crashed cars or a fire truck, an ambulance, and that sort of stuff. So you might need that library for this. Let's see how it goes. Do we need to climb over that hill? It certainly looks like it. Now, as you can see, in cruise, this aircraft is stable as hell, and yeah, really a joy to fly. It is my favorite. I like these very responsive helicopters, and the French ones are that way in real life. It's 15 nautical miles from target. You know, the Mission X gives you updates on where you are, but we know that, of course, already. So let's climb a little bit over that little mountain straight ahead. Yeah, I'm not really sure about the trim center ball, the instrument below the artificial horizon. I find that it really is not true of what you're doing. I find the helicopter is best in trim if you actually go by the trim feathers on the canopy, just on the center column there. I find that if I adhere to that and not to the instrument below, it is best for my trim. But I'm not sure. Your mileage may vary there. We are veering off a little bit to the left here, so... Oh no, we're actually right on track. Now, I'm no expert in this plugin, I just downloaded it. I think it's fun. Gives you a reason to fly, other than going from airport to airport, which can be, you know, tiresome if they're far apart. I do like that, but yeah, to just hop in and do a short mission, this is really quite nice. And it's for free. Great stuff. So you can check out all the other features of the plugin. I think you can also load that flight plan into your X-Plane GPS. I don't know how to do it. I have the Reality XP, so just use that. Right, 95 miles. You will get in sort of a symbol floating in the air to find your the person that's hurt or whatever. We're probably not going to land, but to hover above the water. Let's say a swimmer or a sailor got in need, and we need to extract him from that water body. Switch off the landing light for now. This is not a busy airspace. So we should be getting close. 6 miles. I don't see water actually.
You are 5 nautical miles from target.
I am indeed. Should probably start the decel now, just reducing collective, like, and keeping sort of the same attitude as before. The helicopter should reduce speed. Now this one takes a little bit to slow down. And let's descend a little, reducing collective even more. Put in more left pedal as I do so, because reducing the collective reduces torque-induced yaw. So you got to counteract that with your pedals. 2.7 miles. You can hear the blade slap. It's fantastic. Love this chopper. Alright, he wants us to hover above the target location, which I am yet to discover. So the only body of water I see is the river, actually. Down here. 0.1 miles. Do you see it? I don't. I think I know. I just thought I did.
Hover above target for 11 seconds.
Problem is, still didn't see it. So I'm gonna do a quick turn here, decel, while I turn. Ah, there it is. All right. So I'm gonna do another 180 here and then approach it from the west. Now once you slow down, you will need to pull in collective, of course, and then the right pedal, which is our power pedal. So there's our destination. Just get a little bit lower if we sort of imagine that we have a winch and a man on the winch. We need to be a little bit closer to the ground. Oh, there's even an object down there. Can't really make out what it is, but so let's slow down, pull in collective and right pedal as we go. Oh, you can actually see a boat.
It is time to fly back. Fly to Verde Valley.
So you already accepted this as a hover. But let's just imagine for a second that we need to be on the spot a little bit more or longer. So I'm going to approach these things and I try to be in a stable hover. It's best to pick a spot that's a little bit further away. You might need to increase your cyclic inputs a little bit when you want to stay over a certain spot. There we go. But really you don't have to do much with these French helicopters, you know, just nudge it where you want it to be, but don't do any excessive movements on the cyclic. Don't stir the pot, so to speak, as you might would in a Bell type 2-bladed teetering system, Robinson and Bell and the likes. Alright, well, it's getting away a little bit. And she said we ought to go back, which means we're flying back to where we started from, probably. Getting a little way. Closer. And just keep it, try to keep it over a spot. It's a little bit more difficult if you're higher up, because you know your reference points aren't that good. Alright, let's say we're done here and we are going to fly back. So increase collective and we're gonna go. So there's actually a feature in the AS350B Plus to sort of load a passenger. But I don't know if I can pause the flight without, you know, Mission X telling me that it was a failure. So let's keep it like this for now. I'm going to show you when I'm back on the ground. So we're supposed to fly back. Alright. So we saved our person, and if we are flying back to the hospital, he will be well cared for. Now this was actually this flight is actually a little bit longer than the one I had before, but yeah, I think that's the way it is. Sometimes it's very close to you, sometimes it's more distant. But as you can see, it's a fun thing to do. You can generate your own missions, of course, or create your own missions. I bet there are a lot of templates out there that have been done by other users. So I think it's pretty neat, especially for helicopter pilots, downloading that plugin, just having something to do on the sim rather than, I don't know. Basically, you're still flying from point A to point B, but it sort of gives you a kind of purpose. Now, even in X-Plane's, well, let's say rather low quality default scenery, this is a beautiful gorge down there. Alright, that's 15 miles. Once we get to 5 miles, we're going to self-announce on the traffic information CTAV of Sedona Airport. Well, we don't have any other people flying around here, I guess, but that's the way we would do it. So once I land, I'm going to check out that plugin a little more, if you can, you know, what settings you can choose and stuff like that. You know, if there's an accident on the road, you probably would have to land. We just had to hover over the spot. Alright, interestingly enough, he's going to send us back to the airport, as it seems. No, he doesn't. It's starting to decel a little bit here. Easing off on the collective, keeping the same attitude, should slow us down. Landing lights on. Sedona traffic, Airlife 1, 5 miles west, 5,100 inbound for landing at the Medical Center, Sedona. Let's make sure we don't get too slow.
You are 5 nautical miles from target.
Sedona traffic, Airlife 1 is 5 miles west at 4,900 feet inbound for the Medical Center, Sedona. I'm going to accelerate. I thought I would have been a little bit closer by now, but I'm not, so depending on how our patient feels, we might need to hurry up. Now comes the tricky part, touching down with the AS350. As I said, it's pretty much like the real thing. It can be a little bit hard to set her down. I think real pilots will sort of not hover that much before landing, and they will feel for the ground with the right rear skid, which we're trying to do as well. However, we can't really feel too much or anything basically in a flight simulator, so we have to sort of guess on what it's doing. With time you get a sort of a feeling for the aircraft, but of course if you would have your seat of the pants senses, so to speak, it would be much easier to set this chopper down. But I think Dreamfoil made a very good rendition of the actual aircraft. It is very precise, as is the real aircraft, but yet stable and very powerful. So I'm using a full-size cyclic. So flying this bird with a desktop joystick, with a small one that doesn't have the throw and the amount of control that I have with a full-size cyclic, can be quite frustrating, so I'd recommend for you to dial down on the saturation or add in some curves to adapt it to a small, sort of a small joystick there. But with full-size cyclics, it is very maneuverable, very good to handle. So we're close. However, it's not that easy to find. Haven't been flying too much to this helipad. I did it a few times, but not that much, so I'm not really sure where it is exactly. But we will see a sign or a symbol showing us the way. Can't see it yet. Alright, add in some collective now and right pedal. So we should be here. Ah, I see it. Alright. It's right in front of me. Now we will have to do a little bit of a vertical descent into the landing zone because of those trees, actually. Let's see how that goes. Quite a bit more right pedal, and then I'm going to slowly approach the pad.
You reached the end of this flight.
Oh, nice. There's an ambulance. They parked an ambulance there. So this is probably what you need the Rescue X mesh in for. Library, sorry. Rescue X, that's what it's called. Alright, let's get into a nice little hover here. Find the H. Can't see it yet. Remember, you have to hover right, skid low a little bit. And once we're in a nice hover, I'm going to slowly reduce collective just by increments. And while you do so, you have to very carefully balance out chopper in a hover and feel for the ground with the rear skid. Yeah, we're down. That was a good one. A little bit off to the right, off to the H, but anyway, good landing. It was fun. So there's the ambulance waiting to take the passenger away, which is sort of not really necessary since we're at the hospital already. Alright, so this was a little short flight with the AS350B and Mission X. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe and like, and we'll see you in the Nerd Lair, and the Heli Simmer Nerd Lair. See ya. Oh, if you want to stick around and shut the aircraft down, you're most welcome to. We're going to secure the cyclic and the collective and roll off the throttle to the idle position. Now we can switch off Well, we could have switched the fuel pump off at the beginning, but position lights and horn, transponder to off. Don't need the avionics. Pitot heating to off. And then we've got to wait for 30 seconds and we can actually shut this whole thing down. And once a rotor RPM is about 130 to 120, we can engage the rotor brake. And he will give us a report of our flight time, flight duration, engine cycle, and that stuff. So now we can engage the rotor brake. Try to get one blade straight ahead, so stop the rotor with one rotor blade straight ahead, which will stop the rotors from ending up just above the engine exhaust, which wouldn't be good for the rotors. Well, kinda straight ahead. So our engine cycle, we flew 40 minutes. That's long, a long video. All right, so nothing left to do but switch off anti-collision lights and the power. All right, that was it. Air Life Sedona. See ya.